Topics covered. Cloud Solution Architect, Azure AI, DevSecOps. Locked Cloud Security Architect, Azure Governance Compliance. Direct Hit JD Summary, Combined Overview. Both roles focus on designing, securing, and optimizing enterprise-grade Azure cloud platforms with strong emphasis on governance and compliance, NESA, ISO 27001, CS. Automation using Terraform, Bicep, and Azure DevOps. Security, IAM, Zero Trust, and Sentinel integration. Data and AI, ADF, Synapse, Cognitive Services. Cost optimization, resilience, and observability. Briefcase Section 1. Cloud Architecture and Landing Zones Q1. What is an Azure landing zone, and why is it critical for enterprise deployments? Answer. An Azure landing zone is a predefined architecture and governance foundation that enables secure, scalable, and compliant workload deployment. It defines identity, networking, management groups, policies, and security controls. For regulated industries like banking or insurance, it ensures alignment with standards such as UAE NESA or CS benchmarks from day one. It's similar to AWS Control Tower, but instead of managing AWS accounts, Azure landing zones manage subscriptions, management groups, and Azure policies. Q2. How do you design a multi-region Azure landing zone with hybrid integration? Answer. I use the hub-spoke network topology with ExpressRoute for secure connectivity between Azure regions and on-prem, e.g., Ireland DC. Core design includes hub, shared services, firewall, DNS, monitoring, bastion. Spokes, individual workloads or environments. Governance, Azure policy, blueprints, management groups. Security, private endpoints, Key Vault, Defender for cloud. This model ensures compliance, isolation, and scalability across multiple environments. Gear, Section 2. Infrastructure as Code and Automation Q3. What IaC tools do you use in Azure and AWS environments? Answer. I use Terraform for cross-cloud automation and Bicep for Azure-native templates. Terraform manages shared modules, networking, IAM, security. Bicep simplifies native Azure resource deployment. State is stored securely in Azure Blob with versioning and encryption, integrated into Azure DevOps pipelines for automation. Q4. How do you embed security in your CI/CD pipelines, DevSecOps? Answer. Security is integrated at every stage. Code stage, SESD using SonarQube. Build stage, dependency scanning with SNYK. Deploy stage, IaC scanning via Checkoff or Sentinel. Post-deploy, container scanning, Trivy, plus compliance check, OPA. Secrets are managed in Key Vault, pipelines use OIDC authentication, and approval gates enforce manual verification before production. Brain Section 3. Governance, Compliance, and Zero Trust Q5. How do you enforce governance in Azure multi-subscription environments? Answer. Through a layered model. Management groups, structure the hierarchy. Azure policies, apply rules for resource creation, e.g., region, tags, encryption. Blueprints/templates, package compliance for NESA or CS. REAC, role segregation between operations and development. Central logging, integrated via log analytics and Sentinel. This ensures traceability, least privilege access, and audit readiness. Q6. What does Zero Trust mean in Azure, and how do you implement it? Answer. Zero Trust equals never trust, always verify. It applies across identity, enforce MFA, conditional access, and just-in-time privilege via PIM. Network, deny by default NSGs, private endpoints, and Azure Firewall. Data, encrypt all data at rest/in transit, use Key Vault plus managed identities. Monitoring, continuous validation using Defender for cloud and Sentinel. This framework ensures security even within the internal perimeter. Puzzle Piece Section 4. Security Monitoring and Microsoft Sentinel Q7. How does Microsoft Sentinel integrate with Azure Security Architecture? Answer. Sentinel is a SIEM and SOAR tool that aggregates and correlates logs across Azure, activity logs, Defender for cloud, on-prem AD/firewalls. AWS via CloudTrail. Custom playbooks automate responses like isolating VMs or disabling accounts. We also define incident severity and response SLAs to maintain compliance with NESA. Q8. How do you differentiate between Microsoft Sentinel and Defender for Cloud? Answer. Aspect Sentinel, CM/SOAR. Defender for Cloud, CSPM/CWPP. Purpose detect and respond to threats, prevent and assess misconfigurations, data source logs, and telemetry resource posture, and alerts outcome, incident management, risk reduction, and hardening. Both work together. Defender identifies, Sentinel responds. Robot Phase Section 5. Data and AI Integration. Q9. How have you implemented AI or data automation in Azure? Answer. At AXA Insurance, I built an AI-based KYC platform. Used Azure Cognitive Services, OCR plus computer vision for document extraction. Processed data with ADF pipelines and stored in Synapse Analytics. Applied validation and analytics using Power BI plus Synapse. This reduced onboarding time by 60% and ensured full GDPR/NESA compliance.
Q10.
How do you manage data pipelines across multi-cloud or hybrid environments? Answer. I use ADF/Glue for orchestration, Synapse/Redshift for transformation, Event Hubs/Kinesis for streaming, private endpoints and VNet integration for security, Key Vault for encryption, key management. Result: consistent, secure, and automated data movement across Azure plus AWS. Bar chart section 6, observability, SRE, and cost optimization. Q11. How do you ensure observability in your cloud systems? Answer. Metrics, Azure Monitor plus Prometheus. Logs, Log Analytics plus YLK. Traces, Application Insights. Dashboards, Grafana/Azure Workbooks. We define SLIs, latency, error rate, SLOs, and automation via logic apps for alerts, achieving 40% and TTR reduction. Q12. What strategies do you use for cost optimization? Answer. Design stage, right sizing plus reserved VMs. Operations, auto shutdown for non-prod, storage tiering. Governance, Azure Advisor, policy-based enforcement. Visibility, central cost dashboards, tagging standards. Average savings, 25 to 40%, with automation for anomaly alerts. Wheel of Dharma, Section 7. Kubernetes, OpenShift, and hybrid cloud. Q13. How do you secure and manage AKS/EKS clusters? Answer. Security, RBAC, pod security policies, image signing, and vault for secrets. Networking, CNI, NSGs, and MTLS via Istio. Backup/recovery, Valero/Kasten. Governance, Azure Arc for multi-cluster control. This ensures cluster consistency, auditability, and resilience.
Q14.
What's your experience with OpenShift in hybrid scenarios? Answer. Worked with OpenShift 4.x using UPI on-prem and IPI, Azure/AWS models. Argo CD for GitOps. Ansible for automation. Kiali and Istio for observability. This unified DevSecOps deployment across cloud and on-prem. Compass Section 8. Leadership, strategy, and compliance. Q15. How do you drive best practices across teams? Answer. I promote enablement over enforcement. Create reusable Terraform modules. Define reference architectures. Host knowledge sharing sessions. Automate compliance checks. This fosters collaboration, security, and self-service delivery. Q16. What's the most impactful project you've led recently? Answer. Core banking modernization, RackBank, UAE. Built hybrid Azure AWS architecture. Integrated with Ireland on-prem DC via ExpressRoute. Achieved 99.99% uptime, NESA compliance, and 70% faster deployments. It demonstrated that security, automation, and performance can coexist when engineered correctly. Direct Hit Section 9. Azure Landing Zone versus AWS Control Tower. Quick summary aspect: Azure Landing Zone, AWS Control Tower Governance, Unit Management Groups, AWS Accounts Policy Framework, Azure Policy, Blueprints, SCPs, Guardrails, Identity, Azure AD, Entra ID, IAM/SSO Security, Sentinel, Defender for Cloud Guard Duty, Security Hub Automation, Bicep, Terraform, Cloud Formation Compliance, NESA, Sysnist, CIS Cost Tools Advisor, Reserved VMS Trusted Advisor, Savings Plans. Interview tip: Azure Landing Zones focus on policy and subscription-level governance, while AWS Control Tower manages account-level control. Both establish security and compliance foundations at scale. Checkered flag closing summary. You should conclude with something like: in both Cloud Solution Architect and Cloud Security Architect roles, my focus is building secure by design, automated and compliant architectures that scale with governance, observability, and cost efficiency, especially for regulated sectors like banking and insurance.